Okay, so you want to own the world's biggest burger empire. Naturally, you'd assume your biggest challenge is selling more burgers, better recipes, lower prices, faster service, more customers. But here's the strange part. McDonald's became one of the richest companies on earth by focusing on something that has almost nothing to do with burgers. In fact, if every Big Mac disappeared tomorrow, the company would still own one of the most valuable real estate portfolios on the planet. And that's where the real money begins. Because McDonald's isn't simply a restaurant chain. It's a landlord, a bank, a licensing company, a global property investment machine. That just happens to sell fries. Today we're breaking down exactly how McDonald's quietly built one of history's most profitable business models, where every dollar comes from, where every dollar goes, why franchise owners rarely become as rich as the corporation, and why one decision made over 70 years ago completely changed the fast food industry forever. Let's start with what almost everyone believes. McDonald's makes money by selling burgers. Makes sense, right? Walk into a restaurant, buy food. Company earns profit. Simple. Except, that isn't how the economics work. Imagine two businesses. Business A sells hamburgers. Business B owns thousands of prime commercial properties and charges rent every month. Which one sounds safer? Which one has predictable income? Which one survives recessions better? Exactly. Now imagine combining both businesses into one. That's McDonald's. Instead of asking, how can we sell more burgers? They asked, how can burgers help us own more valuable land? That subtle shift created one of the greatest business models ever invented. Back in the 1950s, Ray Kroc wasn't actually making much money. Franchisees kept opening restaurants. Sales were growing, but profits stayed frustratingly thin. Then financial advisor Harry Sunborn asked one simple question. What business are you really in? His answer became legendary. We are not technically in the food business. We are in the real estate business. That single realization changed everything. Instead of simply licensing restaurants, McDonald's started buying the land underneath them. Then, they leased that land back to franchise owners. Now McDonald's earned money even before a single burger was sold. Think about that. Every customer buying fries was also helping pay the rent. Let's follow a single restaurant. Imagine a McDonald's location generates $3 million in annual sales. Here's what happens. Customer buys food. Money enters the restaurant. The franchise owner pays employees, food suppliers, electricity, insurance, taxes, maintenance. After operating expenses, the owner still owes McDonald's, usually around 4% of sales as a royalty. Then comes rent, sometimes fixed, sometimes based on sales, sometimes both. That rent often becomes McDonald's biggest profit source. Now zoom out. More than 95% of McDonald's restaurants worldwide are franchised. Thousands of franchise owners, paying rent every month, paying royalties every month, advertising contributions, license fees. That's recurring revenue, not dependent on selling more burgers every day. Ever noticed where McDonald's restaurants are? Busy intersections, major highways, airport exits, shopping districts, near schools, near hospitals, near highways. That's no accident. McDonald's employs teams that analyze traffic patterns, population density, household income, future city expansion, even planned road construction, because buying the right property today can become worth 10 times more decades later. The burger business creates cash flow. The land quietly creates wealth. Imagine planting a tree. The fruit feeds you every season, but the land underneath becomes more valuable every year. McDonald's owns both. Now you might wonder, if McDonald's makes so much money, why would anyone become a franchise owner? Simple. Because despite paying rent and royalties, many franchisees still earn excellent incomes. What they're buying isn't just a restaurant. They're buying a trusted global brand, decades of marketing, supply chains, training, technology, operational systems, customer trust. Imagine trying to build that from scratch. It would take years, millions of dollars, and most likely, it wouldn't work. Instead, franchise owners pay for certainty. They're exchanging some profit for dramatically lower business risk. That's a trade millions of entrepreneurs gladly accept. Let's appreciate the scale. McDonald's operates in over 100 countries, tens of thousands of restaurants, millions of customers every day, billions in annual revenue. But perhaps the most overlooked number is the value of the real estate itself. Over decades, McDonald's accumulated one of the largest commercial property portfolios in the world. Each location acts like a tiny cash-producing asset. Multiply that thousands of times across decades, and the economics become extraordinary. Because while competitors focused on selling meals, McDonald's quietly accumulated appreciating assets. Here's what makes this strategy so powerful. Most businesses depend on customers. McDonald's depends on customers, and franchise owners, and real estate. Three separate engines. If burger sales slow, rent continues. If inflation rises, property values may increase. If new markets open, the system scales again. It's diversification built into the business model itself. That's why investors often describe McDonald's as something much larger than a restaurant chain. It's an ecosystem. Every participant, customers, suppliers, franchisees, landowners, employees, feeds value into the same machine. So next time you pass a McDonald's, don't just see a drive-through. See a real estate investment. See recurring cash flow. See decades of strategic planning. See thousands of properties working together like tiny economic engines. Because the greatest business models rarely depend on selling the best product. They depend on owning the system everyone else depends on. McDonald's didn't become an empire simply because people love burgers. It became an empire because every burger sold strengthened a property portfolio that keeps generating wealth year after year. And that's the hidden economics of McDonald's real estate. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden economics behind the world's biggest companies, where the products you see are often just the surface of how the real money is made.